Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to your new moon lunar cycle insight video for the cycle beginning with the new moon in Cancer partial solar eclipse on the 12th, 13th of July, and culminating with the dark moon in Leo, preparing for the Leo new moon solar eclipse, which closes the eclipse tunnel on the 11th of August. So the next few months are profoundly transformational as we move through the eclipse gateways. We move through the Lion's Gate portal and we experience multiple retrogrades. So this video is designed to give you some insight, some clarity around how you can best work with these energies to utilize growth, to catalyze your soul's evolution. So we begin this cycle with the new moon in Cancer, which for you Sagittarius will fall in the 8th house. So this is a hidden space of the birth chart. The 8th house is the house of alchemy, of transformation, of death and rebirth. And Cancer is a deeply sensitive and emotional energy. This is a water moon in a water house for you. So you may experience many emotions rising up from the depth of your subconscious around this time, Sagittarius, rising up to be healed, transmuted and cleared. This can be a time when you are looking deeply at the hereditary patterns, the ancestral karma that has been passed down to you through your family line, working to clear any childhood traumas or abuses. This can also be a potent time to let go of any intimate connections that are no longer serving you. Perhaps some memories from the past will rise up and you will be called to do to let go of the final remnants of attachment to old partners, old lovers. So it's a deeply emotional and intense new moon for you, Sagittarius, and it's opposed by Pluto, who is currently transiting your second house alongside Saturn. So this is where a lot of your soul growth is coming at this time through this second house energy, and this can bring to the surface issues of self-worth, of self-love. Perhaps you have been undervaluing yourself, Sagittarius. Perhaps you have been neglecting yourself and giving all of your time and energy to others. Perhaps you have been not honoring your time, your energy, your resources. And this moon can really highlight these ongoing transits for you. And it can also highlight shared resources. So if we are combining our finances with somebody else, or we're sharing resources in some way, this can really bring any issues around that to a head as well. The new moon will form a trine, a grand water trine, with Jupiter in Scorpio, newly direct in your 11th house. In your 12th house, sorry, and Neptune in Pisces in your 4th house. So this adds to the element of emotional healing. These are all water houses of the birth chart, and this is where we can do some deep psychological clearing and releasing, particularly things that rise up from the subconscious that we thought that we'd forgotten about, hereditary patterns that we may have unconsciously taken on. They can all surface, and it's important for you to sit with these emotions and just allow them to wash over you, allow yourself to be cleansed and purified. We also have a grand earth trine forming in the houses of your chart that are connected with resource, with purpose, with work. So this can also be a time when you can have unexpected opportunities to enhance your financial flow. This can be a time when you are feeling the need to really ground your purpose, to really ground your visions into reality. This can be a time when you are becoming more aware of the physical steps that you need to take to bring your dreams and goals into manifestation. So this new moon is one of simultaneous letting go, but also welcoming in the new and being aware of the connections and the gifts that are given to you. This is a good time, particularly when you're having heavy second house transit, Sagittarius, to cultivate an attitude of gratitude, to be grateful for what you do have. While you are working through any issues of lack, any feelings of not having enough or not being enough. So just watch out for all of that stuff rising and be willing to sit with it, to hold it, and to transmute it. On the 22nd of July, the sun shifts from your 8th house and kind of loosens up that emotional intensity and into your 9th house, which is ruled over by Leo, but it is the Sagittarius, traditionally the Sagittarian area of the birth chart. So this is an energy that can really reawaken and inspire you. The sun is now in a fellow fire sign in Leo. We're kind of moving towards the Lionsgate energies at this point. And this is the house of the birth chart where we can receive downloads from source. The galactic center sits in Sagittarius, and this is the space that is very much related to that vortex of infinite possibility. So normally this can be a transit of excitement, of, expanding knowledge, expanding spiritual growth. But this year, Mercury will be joining the sun, is already in this space of your birth chart and will be going retrograde here as the sun transits. So this is a time for you, Sagittarius, of reassessing your relationship to your spiritual truth. So we know you, as the sign of the celestial archer, are always on the lookout for what is true, always on your search to uncover something to believe in. And this Mercury retrograde here can really be calling you to let go of what you thought was true, to let go of your old beliefs, the old teachings that are perhaps keeping you anchored into the old paradigm, and begin to open up to something new. Perhaps your old spiritual connections, your old groups, your old circles, the things that you used to be heavily invested in believing are just not working for you anymore. And Mercury will call you to really work with that, to really take the time to go inside and recalibrate your beliefs. And this can also be around personal truth as well. This is a time for you to find what is authentically true for you. What is your reason for incarnation? What is the fuel that drives your soul forward? These are all things that you can be thinking of during this period. And it's going to be a heavy internal time for all of us, with Mars still retrograde as well. So it's really important that we surrender to that process and allow the recalibration to take place. The biggest eclipse of the cycle is the lunar eclipse in Aquarius. It's the biggest eclipse in a decade, the biggest lunar eclipse in a decade. And it's in square to Uranus. It is conjunct Mars, the warrior, and it is conjunct the South Node. So for all of us, this is going to be a time of profound release, of letting go, of shedding the old, of reworking our visions, of disconnecting from those things that stifle our soul. So it's a very important and powerful eclipse, and it's going to be falling in your third house, Sagittarius. And this house again is a house that is very connected with mental programming, mental patterning. The ninth third house axis that you will be working with this eclipse is often referred to as the axis of teaching and learning. So this is where you can be really seeing, really feeling where these old belief systems have held you back, where they've kept you entrenched in the past. And of course, this eclipse highlights where Mars is already retrograding, which for you is the third house. And this is the house of the throat chakra. This is the house of self-expression, of communication, of connection through the medium of voice. So this can be a time when you're really clearing out your throat, when there's a lot of suppressed words or anger that might need to rise up and be spoken around this time. And on the highest level, this house is actually, the axis where we can become a channel for spirit. The downloads come in through Sagittarius and get spoken through the third house, Gemini. So this can be a time when you're really clearing and purifying your vessel as well, especially with this lunation being in square to Uranus in your sixth house of detoxification. So there can be a lot of insight around this time for you, Sagittarius, and there can be a lot of breaking down of the old ways of thinking, of being, of expressing yourself. And we know you're the natural teacher, so for those of you who are teachers, who are writers, who are speakers, who are readers of some kind, this can be a time when you're changing the way that you work, changing the way that you share your teachings, your wisdom with the world. So just be open to that. We know that you like to get stuck in your beliefs, Sagittarius. We know that you can become quite fixated and perhaps a little bit zealous about what you believe to be true. So this is a moment for you to be flexible, to be open, to do Gemini and be willing to see all sides, all polarities of an issue. Nothing is ever fixed. There is always a fresh perspective that we can take on any issue that arises in our life, and this is the time for you to embrace that. So we have a little bit of a cosmic break after the eclipse, and Venus will move into Libra in your 11th house on the 6th of August. So this is a really nice transit for Venus. Venus is in a very sociable sign. She's in Libra, the sign of the other, the sign of connection, the sign that one of the signs that she rules over and she loves to be in. So, and the 11th house is our groups, it's our circles, it's our friendships, and it is our visions for the future, it's our individual purpose, it's our hopes and dreams. So this can be a time when other people may come forward to support your vision, to support what you're moving towards at this time. This is a time when you might feel more inclined to be sociable, to go out, to mix with other people, and this can be beautiful because the Aquarius eclipse can bring up a lot of stuff around friendships, and this is a nice soothing transit to have after that experience. If there has been any upheaval in your circle, Sagittarius, Venus can come along and smooth that out. We're going to finish the eclipse cycle with a new moon solar eclipse in Leo And this is again going to be in your 9th house. So all of the clearing work that's been going on in this 9th house and is still going on with Mercury still retrograde, this is a time when it can be extra highlighted and we can see what more work needs to be done and perhaps which intentions we need to set for the future. It's going to be in square to Jupiter in Scorpio in your 12th house, so we can see that a lot of unconscious material might rise around this time for you as well. So this really is a month, Sagittarius, of you being willing to go within, to reassess the beliefs and the thought patterns and the ways of communicating that are no longer serving you. How can you come more into alignment with your truth and fearlessly express it in the world? I've pulled a card for you from the Isis Oracle deck, and this is Pillar of Light, Descent of the Star of Isis, which is really beautiful because we're going through the Lion's Gate. The light of Sirius, who the Egyptians called Isis, is going to be descending upon us all, and for you it's coming through that Leo 9th house, that house of spiritual truth and connection. So this says that there is a lot of light, a lot of information, a lot of downloads that are coming through for you at this time, Sagittarius, and you need to really purify your vessel so that you're able to carry them. And then when the times are right, the codes that you have absorbed will be activated, and you can teach and share them and speak them and write them and, you know, help the rest of us evolve. You know, that's your job. You are the guru, you are the teacher. So I hope that this little insight reading has served you and will serve you throughout the eclipse cycle, Sagittarius. If you would like to connect with me further, then please check out the links below this video. I'm sending you so much love.